do your son's friends know like who you are and like the restaurant and
Yes.
that's hey, she runs Calisience, like all that?
Yes.
Yeah.
They come up to me and they're like, Stamos's mom, your tacos are bussin'. And then they run away. Nominated for Best New Restaurant, nominated for Best Chef. I didn't go to school
Right.
to be a chef.
Right.
You know, I learned, you know, from family and friends and, you know, the Food Network.
Yeah.
I watched Chopped. That's where I learned, and, you know, trial and error.
Yeah.
So to just be put in that circle, in that position, it was just overwhelming. I'm like, I'm a winner. Like, they're gonna know. They're like, who is this?
Yeah.
So that to me was just a win already.
Yeah. That's beautiful. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the IGLOOSIVE podcast. I'm very excited to have this guest here today, one of my dear friends. She is a total badass and entrepreneur. Y'all give it up for Jacqueline Anaya.
Hello.
Now we getting busy, bridging the gap. Born in the game.
How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Good.
How about you?
I'm doing great. We're here. Got those 5 shots in.
Yes.
She had an espresso on the way here, and I'm gonna put you on blast. Venti, right? And it's a Venti ice brown sugar oatmeal blonde espresso with 5 shots. Oh my god, it's so good. So she's cracked out right now, which is cool. Yeah, get the itch going on.
Yeah.
Well, for the ones that have never heard of Jacqueline, maybe you've heard of her restaurant, Calisience. It is in Fort Worth, Texas. It is some of the best birria tacos that I've ever had. And I've been everywhere and traveled all around the world. And you've just come so far from the food truck that you opened like during the pandemic. So to come out of the pandemic, have the food truck, open that up, get your own brick and mortar, that is freaking amazing. And I am so proud of you as a customer and as a friend. So kind of walk me through that as far as how did you get started in the food business, like cooking for people and wanting to open up your own restaurant and food truck? How did that come about?
Well, I always knew I wanted to be my own boss. Mm-hmm. I tried different things. But then one day, you know, 2019, that year was the year that I was like, I'm going to do it. I didn't know when, but I'm like, I'm going to do it. Yeah. So then over 4th of July weekend that year, I was at my uncle's house, and it's like, I remember this vividly. I was there, we were having a great time, and I went back home to my apartment, and I said, you know what? I'm going to make food, I'm going to take pictures, and I'm going to post it. And I did. I posted that same week, and then I started taking orders. I posted it online on Instagram, and I started taking orders. It was like Tuesday or Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And by Friday, I had 10 orders, and that's actually how it started.
That's
just posted one picture, and people started ordering.
What was the first thing that you made?
It was ceviche verde.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That sounds fucking amazing.
Yes.
That sounds really good. So you had 10 orders just like that off the back when you were like, I'm on to something, and you just started like cooking out of your house more and more?
Yes. So I started that weekend, and that gave me the motivation to keep going, mm-hmm. because like I said, I've tried other, I had other business ventures, and it wasn't, the engagement wasn't there.
Right.
So it was there, and it was there without them even knowing that it was me. I posted, but I didn't say, hey, it's me, Jacqueline, and then like come order food from me, or I'm gonna start selling food. No, I literally made the Calisience Instagram. I posted, and then I posted it on my personal Instagram and, you know, sent it to friends and family. But I never said, other than my family, of course, they didn't know that it was me.
Yeah.
So whenever I got that engagement, I was really motivated. I'm like, okay, I'm onto something here.
Definitely. And that says a lot, because if you post something, you're like, hey, I'm selling plates, like your friends are always going to show up and buy, you know, but how long is that going to last? Like they'll help, their support, and they'll be there for like the first, second, third time maybe. But after that, when it dies down, if you don't have engagement from other people, then that's when it gets really tough. So that's awesome. And so like word of mouth just started spreading about your food. And how long did it take from when you first made your plate into the house, when you were opening up a food truck and started thinking like, I got to get a food truck and start making moves?
So it was July of 2019, and we opened up February 1st, 2020.
A month and a half before the pandemic and the lockdown.
Well, no, it was 2 weeks before. I remember that it was 2 weeks after that, you know, I started seeing like this whole, you know, COVID shutdown and all that.
I'm sure there is so much, like, I don't want to say regret, but so much depression and so much almost fearfulness of seeing this pandemic happen right after you open your food truck and places shutting down and all this stuff spreading. Like I'm sure the pressure on you and the anxiety you felt was pretty high at that point, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, but more so, it was like a double challenge because I don't have any business background. Like I've always, you know, I've always been a hustler.
Yeah.
I've always, you know, it's always been like I've always overcame the struggle. Like it's a blessing and a curse. I've always known how to come up and come out all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to make it happen regardless. No matter if I'm crying and, you know, I'm feeling depressed or I'm feeling like overwhelmed, like I always make it happen regardless.
Yeah.
You know, even if I'm kicking and crying and, you know, I'm going to do it. But it's just, I feel like it really was like a double challenge. Like I was already going to have a challenge trying to keep this business going. And then on top of that, with the pandemic, you know, having to adjust, you know, how I'm serving and, you know, having all these people getting sick and school and like school lockdowns. And, you know, since we went full lockdown here in Texas, so it's having an 11-year-old son, you know, so it was pretty challenging. Yeah,
that had to be like nerve-wracking, especially because of like when the pandemic happened, I kind of had like a little bit of the same feelings, like this is go time, like you have to figure it out. But I couldn't even imagine having like a mouth to provide for. Like that had to be even rougher on you for that to happen, you know, like that's just that's insane. But I'm sure that you also felt like if I get through this, that I can get through pretty much anything else that comes along the way.
Well, yes, but I didn't, like, it wasn't like on my mind. But like I've mentioned before, I'm so used to that that it just comes natural to me. And I always remember, I don't remember when it was or what interview it was, but I will always remember Kevin Hart said, you have to treat like your life like a game. Like you know, you go through this level. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
So it was on Joe Rogan.
Okay, yeah, and it's like it's a level, and you have to treat it that way.
Yeah,
and you have to, you know, and it's a struggle. Like I know how to overcome things and look for solutions. Yeah,
it's a constant level up. This life, you just continue to level up.
Or you get stuck.
Yeah, yep. But I mean, if you get stuck, that's kind of on you, you know, and you have to just keep pushing and persevering and you know, pushing through it all. It's but it's amazing. Now, when you say that you're used to it, you're used to just like grinding it out, or you're used to hard times and coming through, or like can you go on more of that, of like how you're used to it?
Both. I'm used to it.
Is it just life in general that throws stuff at you?
Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot is me too. But it's just because I don't know any better. You know, I don't, and I'm learning. As you know, we've we've became extremely close to that point where you know where I'm coming from. Like, you know, I do play a big part in those struggles.
Yeah.
But it's also been life.
Yeah.
So I am used to it, you know, and I am used to grinding it out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, that's definitely something that you and I have done together, and been able to see each other's come up and from nothing to something, which is it's amazing. It's a very beautiful thing. I remember when I went to your house and I sold you tickets for a show. It was an apartment complex here in Austin. It was back in 2015. It was right before I was going to move to Colorado, and you bought tickets. You weren't able to show up, but I remember you supporting all the way back then. And I remember seeing you start doing your stuff and starting to you got a food truck and you got all of that happening. Me and Israel were going to Oklahoma, and I was like, we're passing through Fort Worth. We have to stop by this place. My friend has a food truck. She supported me since the very beginning. I have to go by. I have to see her. I have to say what's up. And we went back by, and I was already going to be like, yeah, the food's good. I'm going to put it on my story or whatever. But I was completely blown away. Like, after I test, like, oh, my goodness, son of a bitch, this is good. Like, this is actually really good food. I almost got down on one knee when I had a bite of the taco, but I was like, just fucking compose yourself. And you know, it's been a thing with me and you where if I'm in your town, you come to the show, and afterwards I go to your place, and that's been a tradition. And I love it. And I'm now you have your own restaurant, a brick and mortar, and I know how much you went through to get that up and running. I know the conversations we had, and you and I really, really got close like this year, for sure. We've definitely been each other's like life support in a sense. Like, if I needed it, you would help me. If you needed it, I would help you, and we would stay in the Word. Like, we read the Bible together. Like, there's like been so much that you and I have like done together and like overcome, and I just think that it's beautiful that we've been able to witness each other since the very beginning to now. And I'm extremely proud of you. And I'm probably going to say that like 20 more times on this podcast, but it's because it is like truly how I feel. And I think it's dope, man. Like, do your son's friends know like who you are and like the restaurant and
yes,
that's, hey, she runs Calisience, like all that?
Yes.
Yeah.
They come up to me and they're like, Stamos' mom. Your tacos are bussin'. And then they run away. Oh, they'll be like, I actually sponsored their end of school party. They'll be like, Stamos' mom, thank you so much for cooking for us. And I'm like, you're welcome.
I love it. And you have there's so many awards that you've won, and the most recent one was the Tastemaker Award and the Best New Restaurant. Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you.
And the beautiful thing with that, Jacqueline, is that you were going up against somebody in the final round that you admired and
Yes.
that you loved his restaurant. How did it feel to like win that category up against the person that you literally love and admire?
Well, that's the thing. Whenever the list was dropped, like I was crying.
Yeah.
Like, I literally cried.
Yeah.
Because to be, not that I don't think highly of myself, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
As we say, you know, it is what it is, and we have to be realistic.
Yeah.
And, you know, me being realistic, I'm not educated. I don't have a degree. I don't come from a family that owns restaurants. I don't come from a family that has businesses. You know, we're just first generation in a lot of things.
Yeah.
So with that being said, like, just to be put, you know, around, you know, and in that circle, it's just, to me, it was just overwhelming.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not even. nominated for best new restaurant, nominated for best chef. I didn't go to school
Right.
to be a chef.
Right.
I learned, from family and friends and, the Food Network.
Yeah.
I watched Chopped. That's where I learned, and, trial and error.
Yeah.
So to just be put in that circle, in that position, it was just overwhelming. I'm like, I'm a winner. Like, they're gonna know. They're like, who is this?
Yeah.
So that to me was just a win already.
Yeah. That's beautiful. How did it feel when like your name got called for the best new restaurant?
It was all a blur.
Yeah.
It was all a blur. It really was. It was literally all a blur. But just to, he was there. His name is Adrian. He was there, him and his wife. And they were so happy for me. And I actually felt it. It wasn't, fake, or it wasn't just for appearance. No, it really wasn't. And just for them to welcome, my win like that.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, it's just amazing. And it made me feel even better. Like I was able to receive it. Like they hugged me and they were just so happy for me.
Yeah.
So I will always remember that. That is a core memory for me, that I looked over and they were genuinely happy. And it was just amazing for me to win. And everyone was so happy. Everyone was like, we've been following you and, we love your story. And it's just amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I feel great.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm not gonna cry yet. But
We'll get there. We'll get those tears out of you. Don't worry. No, that's amazing. And how long was that restaurant open? Was it Don Artemis or whatever?
Don Artemio. It's
There it
been
is. I just sounded white
open.
as fuck.
I believe it's
Don
been
Artemis?
open. It's been open as long as I have. I think so. I remember reading about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
They serve the same food, or they're a little different?
It's authentic Mexican cuisine.
Okay.
What I love about their place is that they have the ability to do what I would like to do.
Right. As far as what?
To be able to present our food,
Mm-hmm.
because in the United States, the way that they present our food, or we present our food, it's very simple, very straight to the point. But he takes it to the next level, and I love that about a taco or like nopales, something as simple as that.
Yeah.
It's like he takes it to the next level, the way he serves it. But when you put it in your mouth, you know what it is.
Right.
You familiarize, with the flavors. Mm-hmm. But it's just the way it's presented. I believe that we take our food down to just so like simplicity,
Mm-hmm.
And our culture is beautiful.
Yeah.
Our food is amazing.
Yes.
And we just simplify things. And so that's why, even whenever I was in the food truck, the way that I served my food and the way that I delivered it, it was not just tacos. It's not just this. It's not from a, rundown food truck that's sitting in the back.
Right.
No. And it's like, that's why I admire him, that he brought that, and he brought that to Fort Worth. I hadn't seen that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always, when people try to bring, or investors, or they always go like the Tex-Mex route, there's nothing wrong with that. But to engage and to get that engagement,
Mm-hmm.
that's the route that they go.
Yeah.
And it's like, Adrian didn't do that.
Yeah.
And I admire that. It's Mexican cuisine.
He made his own path.
And I love that.
Yeah.
Because I love, I just love authentic Mexican food.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, no, I mean, you make a valid point, because I mean, if you go to any kind of Tex-Mex restaurant, it's literally the same presentation for every plate. You get if you get an enchilada plate anywhere, it's beans on one side, rice on one side, enchiladas in the middle.
And you don't get
everywhere.
that with him. You don't. And I love it.
What kind of presentation does he have as far as like one of his plates that like is your favorite? How does he set it up? Because I'm curious myself.
So let's.
The nopales. How are the
Oh.
nopales set up?
So the nopales are, I believe they're kind of like shaved maybe, and they're kind of like crispy.
Okay.
And they're presented crispy, and then he has he throws in bacon bits in it.
Oh damn.
Yes, they're really good. We actually just had those yesterday.
Yeah.
And so they brought out the tortillas. So put tortillas, some guacamole, and los nopalitos with salsa, and then you just eat it. So when you eat it, it's kind of like you can go anywhere kind of and probably get it like that. You know, you get the bite and you get the familiar flavor. But it's just the presentation and then just how, you know, good the process.
Yeah.
So you can tell.
Well, I'm sold. We'll go around there next time I'm in Dallas.
Oh, yes.
We're making it
And
happen.
then it just makes you feel like so welcome. And I just love that.
Yeah.
I love that and that's what I was trying to bring, you know, to be able to have the presentation and make you feel welcome. And they've executed that,
Yeah.
you know, top tier. You know,
Well-
they present their food, the way that they make you feel, the way that they welcome you. You know, it doesn't matter if it's a 5-star restaurant, they make you feel like wanted, like
Yeah.
you're there and you're valued.
Yeah.
So I just love it.
Yeah. Well, I can tell. I love it. And that's one thing that I can tell people who have never been to your restaurant is when you walk into your restaurant, you feel welcomed. Like even at the food truck, like I remember going to like visit you and just seeing you a million miles an hour running up to everybody, telling them thank you and bringing them stuff. And even your mom was out there and like grabbing and running and hustling and bustling. And you would come out, I'll be back. I'm sorry. Like, you're good. Do your thing.
Yeah.
I'm good. I got the food. You're fine. Don't worry about it. Like, and so it's, that's one thing for sure is that you make people feel welcome. Like you're such a presence, and you have this aura about you that just brings light and breathes light and friendly and good vibes and almost like family vibes. That when you walk in, like you really do feel welcome, you know. And so don't say that you're trying to do that because you've already done that and you're doing that. So just, you know, keep doing it, and I know you will because that's just you naturally. And I'm sure like some dudes, you know, are like, hey, she's kind of being nice to me. What's up? How you doing? You know, because you're gorgeous, you know. So like when you're being welcoming, giving those welcoming vibes, I'm sure there's some douchebags like, I think she likes me. Fuck yeah, all right, I like this. I'm gonna tip her a little bit more. And
No, I don't like them like that.
no, I know, but that's what they think.
Yeah, but
I can almost
and
guarantee
you're you know what? And you are 100% correct.
Yeah.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
I get that a lot. But you know, I'm just trying to make people feel welcome.
Yeah.
I like my whole purpose, and I think I've told you recently, I believe, that I know that my purpose, because I want to be in the kitchen, because I'm in my own zone.
Yeah.
I've always said that me being in the kitchen is, I feel like an artist.
Yeah.
I'm not an artist, but if I can, you know, I lost because, you know, I think in Spanish, so if I can
Be in the kitchen and
no, like if I can, yeah, be in the kitchen, and it's like everything goes away. I'm just working because I am thinking and I'm doing something with my hands. So I just get lost and I just create something.
yeah.
So I just love it. But, you know, now I know that it's not what I want to do, it's what I have to do. And I know that my purpose is to make people like leave happy or feel welcome.
Right.
You know, I go out and I talk to people and I use, you know, my position, because it's all about where you're at and the position that you're in to be who you need to be for people. And I'll sit there and I'll talk to people and I'll make them feel good. And, you know, I'll talk to kids and I'll, I'll try to deliver that so that when they leave, they have a better day, a better week. And I know now that that's my purpose.
Yeah.
And I know that that's where I stand and what I need to do.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I really do. I can't keep myself in the kitchen because that's what makes me comfortable.
Right.
So I have to go out there and be a little uncomfortable and talk to people because I didn't know how to take in the praise and I didn't know how to take in, just some conversations. But now I do. I know that that's my purpose.
Yeah.
To make people feel,
Receiving compliments is the most awkward thing. I am the worst at it.
preaching to the choir. Literally. I would
is
always
the
be like,
worst. Yeah. Thanks.
I'm like, yes, okay,
And get all
okay.
shy and bashful, like, oh, stop. Come
I didn't know
on.
what to say.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to say.
It's a very uncomfortable spot to be in.
Yeah, especially when you don't feel that way.
Yeah.
When you don't feel like you've executed and you don't feel like you're doing the best that you can. People don't see that. Mm-hmm. That you have to get up.
Yeah.
And you have to, go about your day. And people are telling you, oh, I see, you're doing so good. And it's like, really? Like, we don't know how to receive that.
Yeah.
Whenever we literally had to use every ounce of energy to get up from bed.
Right.
And go and make it there.
Yeah. Yep. And we're also our biggest critics. So when people say you're doing great, you're killing it, and you're like, yeah. Like if I had like a set that wasn't great and somebody's like, you were so funny, like, fuck you, I wasn't that funny. I really wasn't. Like, you don't have to say that.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
What were your laughs at when I was up there telling jokes and falling on the floor and getting back up and dying? But it's cool. It's all right. And so I get it. But still appreciate the compliments. It's a good feeling for sure, especially when you're passionate about something and you're putting your heart and soul into it. Mm-hmm. So I think that's I think it's great. And what did you do before the restaurant business? Like what were some of the things that you were doing that you were like, you know what, I gotta make a change and I gotta do what I love? Because for me, I was doing social media management for a small multimedia company, and I was just surrounded by negativity. People were cool. People that worked there were cool, but I was surrounded by so many negative headlines, negative articles, like all of this stuff, having to moderate comments and people dropping like racial slurs in the comments section and having to take care of that. Like that took a toll on me. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I had to do something. And that's when I went after comedy. So like, what was it for you that you were doing to where you were like, I want to do what I love. I know what I can do this and I'm passionate about it. I'm going to make it happen. Because I know that you did make plates before 2019, right? And you sold some plates as far as, or was that the first time? That was the first time you ever did it?
Yes. It's always been in my mind. Mm-hmm. Well, the restaurant, I know the restaurant's been in your mind. It's always been in my, on my mind. Mm-hmm. I was like, if I'm going to do something, like I'm going to do that. Yeah. Like that was always like my plan. Like I'm going to get there. Yeah. But I always knew that I needed to create something that would bring in the capital, bring in that flow of money. Yeah. And I always said, I'm going to own a restaurant one day because I'm a people person, I've always been in the service industry. I know how to cook. I love to cook. Yeah. So I always knew that was there. Something I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't like, okay, boom, I'm going to like own a restaurant. No, it wasn't that way. I feel like once I was ready to let go, mm-hmm. then, and I actually did what I said I was going to do, like sell food, then that's when it unfolded for me. That's really what it did. I was doing permanent makeup. Okay. Before that, I was doing permanent makeup. Is it like tattooing almost? I was doing microblading. Oh, wow. I was doing that. And I honestly think that it was because I was driven by making money, because I was seeing that people were charging $500, $600. Mm-hmm. So I was in that state of mind where if I get one a day or, 3 a week, I can make it happen.
Right.
But I've never really been into like makeup. I never been like a makeup guru, or I didn't, I wasn't a hairstylist or did nails or anything like that. Where a lot of people within that industry, like that do lashes, they've done makeup before, they've been in that industry. So then maybe makeup wasn't their thing, but then lashes, that's where they blew up. A lot of people that like one instructor, she was doing nails, and then she did lashes, and then she started doing eyebrows, and then she was doing classes all over the U.S. So that's what I saw. Yeah. But I didn't see that. They've already been in the industry. Right. That's their calling. Mm-hmm. It's just that it just wasn't aligning for them yet. And then once it did, it blew up. Yeah. But I did that. I tried to open up a cleaning business because, I used to clean with my mom when I was younger, like clean like buildings and apartments, stuff like that. I've tried, what else did I do? Oh, I tried to flip homes. Okay. Try to do everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's great that you were able to do something and find something that you make money off of and you're passionate about it and you love doing it. I think that's the most beautiful thing.
It's beautiful, and also whenever you don't have anything to fall back on, I think it's crucial. I think that's where people mess up a lot. They try to do something and then it doesn't work out. And I don't think it doesn't work out because of the circumstances or what life or the challenges that may be thrown, at them. I think it's because whenever that drive goes away, like that day or that week or that month, if you don't love doing it, you're not going to do it. Yeah. I had 16, 18-hour days. I did everything by myself for a very long time. And what got me up was that I knew for a fact that once I got up and once I was in that food truck and I was cooking, whenever I used to be, on the grill all the time, I used to forget. I forget how tired I was. I would forget, I was just in the zone. Yeah. Because I love cooking. Yeah. So I think that's, that is the thing that it's crucial. Like you can't do something, or at least in my opinion. Right. Like it's not going to work if you don't have anything to fall back on. Yeah. It's like it's not going to work because you have to love it, because whenever you don't have any money in your pocket and you have to spend your last $100, $50 to go get some more meat or to go get some plates or to go get, when you have to turn around and tell your kids or your child, sorry, I can't buy you, Chick-fil-A today because I have to go put it into my business. It has to be worth it. And it's like because you believe in it, because you love it. Yeah. Because you can make it happen because you have love for it. That's what I believe. No. And I know you understand.
I do. 1,000% I understand, because it's, there's been many times like on stage and just doing a show, I could be in the worst mood. I could be having a horrible day, and I go on stage and it just completely goes away. Like, because I'm in the moment. And I know that these people are here to see me. I know that they paid to see me, which blows my fucking mind to this day, that people pay money to come and watch me perform. Blows my mind. So knowing that people pay, I don't care what I'm going through. I've literally found out that my tia was in the emergency room 2-3 hours before I went on stage. And that was very hard to do, but I know what was there, and I went up, I made people laugh, I made them smile, and that's the hardest thing to do, is making other people laugh when you just feel like shit inside. But I go up there and I always give it 100%. I feed off the energy. I get off and worry about it later. We'll save the tears for later and get back to my room, and we'll think about it and cry about it, pray about it, do what we have to do. But when you're in the moment and you're passionate about it, like that passion can push you through anything. Like, it is wild what that passion can do. And, there was times when I was, battling the gout and the foot injury from Boston, that when I got back on the road and when I got on stage, my foot hurt like a son of a bitch when I got on stage. But when I was there and I was doing it, I was good. And then I got off and the pain was back. You feel it again. It's just the adrenaline. It's the, like you said, the passion. And just because you're so passionate about something, it's almost like the body understands and just pushes you through along with the mind. And I just think that, I think it's a beautiful thing. And I think that we're very blessed to make a living off of what we're passionate about, because a lot of people don't get there. A lot of people get a job and they make money and they pay bills and they're just like, okay, well, this is fine. I have a family. I can't do this. I can't risk that. I don't want to do it. This is too much. I have to have a steady paycheck every 1st and 15th of the month. I need money coming in. And when you do take that leap of faith and you do get out there and bet on yourself and God, of course, you learn to just appreciate it so much more. And life becomes so much better and so much more fun because you're able to do what you love. You don't have to go to a job where a boss is like, where have you been? You're 5 minutes late. You're late again. Well, you were late 10 minutes from your lunch yesterday. Like, you don't have to worry about any of that. It's literally you doing everything that you want to do. Of course, it's a lot more responsibilities, but at the same time, like, you can do what you want. I mean, your business right now is running and gunning right now, like while you're here doing a podcast.
It was very hard for me to start doing that, by the way.
I know it was. I remember.
Oh my God. It was so hard. But I'm like, no, like, you have to, you have to kind of leave them to do. You have to, at the end of the day, you just have to have faith. Yeah. You just have to. There's no other way. You have to have faith, because if not, then it's just not going to work.
It's not. And we've talked about it a lot as far as disconnecting and giving somebody else the job to do, and you being hands off, which I'm learning right now, and it's hard, and Zach can attest to it because he's my social media guy, and I see stuff and I always like, hey man, this has to do this or this has to do that, or hey man, I don't know if you saw this, but this is messing up. And it's so hard for me to disconnect and be like, y'all got this, like, you're good, So I understand, and I'm still working in that process, but you're good enough now, and you have really good workers. Shout out to Nancy and Aiden, who kick ass and run stuff and do everything to where you can, like, they're good. They got this. Yes. So it's a beautiful thing for sure. I really want to get into, because you and I, our friendship is based on something that is bigger than any of us and the universe. Our friendship is really based on God and faith. And me and you have both had this journey that we've been walking.
Okay, they're coming.
Yeah. The tears will come for sure. We've both had this journey that we've been walking on, trying to be better versions of ourselves, trying to be closer to God. And the enemy has been on both of us, it seems like. And I really feel like God put us in each other's lives so we could get each other through the hard times, because there's been times where I'm down and out and I hit you up, and I don't cry in front of a lot of people, but you've heard me fucking wail and bawl on the phone and like I just got fucking whipped hard,
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I actually feel very honored.
Oh, thank you.
Like, I do. I feel that when people cry, it's, I knew it. Yeah. So I try to, like, recollect myself and not get into the position where I start crying myself. And you've taught me to be the strong person, for someone else. And I have. So I feel honored, that you've been that way. And because I'm learning how to be there for someone.
Yeah.
So just wanted you to know that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I've called you crying my eyes out before, and you have really been a friend that has identified the enemy for me, because when you're in it and you're in that darkness, you don't understand what's going on. You don't know why you're feeling it. And it's like your enemy radar is like, no, this is it. This is what the enemy's putting in. You need to, and you'll tell me straight up. Like sometimes I feel like I'm going to get grounded because, you're just like, you need to step the fuck up. You need to do this. You need to make it happen. This is the enemy telling you this. Don't think that. You can't think that. You're going to be fine. Da, da, da. And I'm like, you're right.
But you know what?
But,
like I said before, you're the only person that takes in like what I say.
Yeah.
And you actually, so I'm the type of person that if you tell me something, I'm really going to try, and I'm going to say to myself, what truth is coming out of this? Is there any truth? And I'll sit and I'll marinate in it. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're yelling or, I'm going to take it in, and you're the only person that actually, does that. Like whenever I told you, like, if you don't believe in yourself, what makes you think that your audience is going to believe in you?
Yeah.
And I just felt like this overwhelming, like, power to tell you, not power over you, but it was just in me to tell you, like, no, like, look at this. And I pointed it out, and I was assertive. I wasn't aggressive. I was assertive. And you took it in. And I feel like we can do that with each other.
Yeah. So
that's what I really like about our relationship, that you really take it in. You don't get defensive.
Yeah.
You actually sit and it's not like, like you said, oh, I'm going to get grounded. No, it's not really like that. I know that, you say that because
being funny.
You're being funny.
Yeah.
But, you actually take it in.
Yeah.
And that's really, I feel that if a lot of people were like that, they were so defensive, but it's because our relationship is based on something more than just everyday conversations. We understand and we identify that it's, we have God first. And I don't think a lot of people do that in any kind of relationship, but that's our relationship. It's always been God first. So I feel like we can be an example to people that if we put God first, and then whatever type of relationship, between two people, it's going to grow, and it's never going to be about pride or about who can one up one another or so I feel like that's why, because we actually put God first. I feel like
no, and that's the thing, and I've told you this before, like having somebody in your life that's like really close to you and puts God first is such a big and key thing, because we put God first, and I feel like the Holy Spirit works through both of us at times when we need a message or when we need certain types of sayings or something just to push us forward. And also it keeps us accountable, like I've had stuff that I've slipped up on that you called me out on. You've had stuff that you slipped up on that I've called you out on. And we make sure that we're walking on the same path. And I think that that's very important for, a lot of people listening, watching. I'm a very firm believer on that if you do believe in God, that it's gonna be a challenge. There's gonna be so many things that you have to overcome, so many things that you have to do. And for the ones who aren't really big believers, and you hear us like, oh, well, they put God first, they must be boring. No, we turn up, we go out, we drink, we have fun. Like, we do a whole bunch of stuff, man.
Trust me. Guilty as charged.
Yeah, like we do, like that's, and it's a walk of life that, if you do, I really think that people will see the benefits, because I know we have,
Yes.
and it's not, God's not a genie. You can't just ask him like, hey, God, I need help with this. Do this for me. And it doesn't work like that. Like,
No, it actually works the other way around.
yeah.
When I remember when I was fed up, I remember being in my living room. I've told you this already before. I got down on my knees and I'm like, all right, God, like this is it. And that's when my life became the most challenging it has ever been.
Yeah.
When I say I was by myself, I was by myself.
Yeah. It's a rough place to be.
I was literally left with nothing, depressed, and just lost.
Yeah.
But then after that, you know, things started, like I didn't give up. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm not going to give up. And no, it wasn't like that. I just showed up every day when I didn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I showed up. I showed up to work. You know, I may not brush my hair that day,
Right.
but I showed up to work.
Yeah.
I still cooked. You know, I still picked up my son from school, still dropped him off, you know, still fed, you know, my sister and my son. I wouldn't cook as much, but, you know, I still made sure that they were fed. I still made sure, you know, I didn't laugh and I didn't smile for a while.
Yeah.
You know, I literally wouldn't brush my hair. I wouldn't wear any makeup, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to do anything. Didn't have any friends, like really. I didn't want to engage with anyone. I literally was just like a robot. I was on autopilot.
Yeah.
I remember that vividly. You know, I had no light in me. It was gone.
Yeah.
But I was so tired that I knew that I needed to make, and I was like, okay. I was like, okay, God. And it was the hardest time of my life. It really was.
Yeah.
I would cry myself to work every day and cry myself back to work, to home every day.
Mm.
So it's not easy, and he's not a genie.
It's definitely not.
But
He'll bless you.
Yes.
And keep the faith. He'll bless, like just like you. I mean, you just showed up. And You stayed in connection with him, and
Yes.
you kept moving. Like
Yeah, and he kept showing up in other places.
Yeah.
Like my business was booming.
Yeah.
You know, I was so stuck on, oh, I'm alone, but you know, my teammates didn't leave me.
Yeah.
So I had to, because I was in the Word, and because I connected with like you, and because I was determined to stay, you know, grounded and positive. It doesn't matter how I was feeling. You know, I pushed myself. I wouldn't listen to music. I would listen to, you know, our pastor.
Yeah.
You know, I would listen to him, you know, day in, day out.
Yeah.
I would listen to audiobooks day in, day out. That's all I was doing, because I couldn't be in my own head.
Yeah.
So I would feed myself with all that, you know, positive, you know, all those positive words, because I couldn't do it. So
Yes.
that's what I mean. Like whenever I would show up, like that's what I would do. I would listen to that so that I wouldn't get in my own head. And I started, you know, seeing things, and well, my teammates, you know, they're showing up for me. My customers are showing, like I cannot not be grateful for this. So I would, you know, be grateful. I would like journal and stuff like that, read. And it's just literally like, that's what I would do to keep going.
And I feel you on the crying part, because my low point in my life was when I moved back from Colorado, and I moved in with my parents, and I had to stay with them for like 6 months, and I kind of got thrown back into Austin because the stuff kind of fell through the cracks in Colorado Springs. And I had to find a job out here, and I had just quit Comcast because I had another job opportunity come up that didn't happen. So that put me in a dark place because I was literally living with my parents. I was 30. I was 31 years old, and I was living with my parents, and I was delivering pizzas. That was my only job I had. And I remember going in, grabbing pizzas, going to my car, crying on the way to the delivery place, dropping the pizza off, crying back to the pizza shop. And I couldn't listen to music either. I had Joel Osteen. He may have locked the doors. He may have locked people out. I don't know. I'm not looking into it. But whatever. He saved my life. He helped me out a lot. So shout out to Joel. But I needed that in my life because that was the only thing that was pushing me. Mm-hmm. You know, I would be so in my head, and the enemy would be in my head for sure, putting thoughts in my head of like, dude, you're in your 30s, living with your parents, you're delivering pizzas. You've become the loser from the 90s movies that you used to watch. Like, you were that guy. You were the loser in those movies that you're like, oh, that guy's a piece of shit. What a loser. You've become him. You're living with your parents, delivering pizzas. Like, that was like always in my head. And it was something that I knew that I had to push through and get through. Mm-hmm. And I was on autopilot, you know? And when I had
it's
people...
crazy when you look back, right?
It is.
It's like, literally, you would get up and you just... It's like a cycle. Like in cartoons or movies.
Yeah.
How they, like the sun up, sun down, sun up, right?
Yes. Literally. Mm-hmm. Literally. Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad. Good morning. Leaving. Coming back. Hey, whatever. I'm going to bed. Just... constant, just going. And my parents are such amazing, loving people. And at that time, like, I just didn't want to be around them because I was just sad, you know? And I remember seeing people that I knew at my job and, hey, man, you work here? Like, dude, that shit hurt. Like, yeah, I got to deliver these pizzas. I got to go. I'll be back, you know, like... But, I mean, you have to push through that, and you have to fight through that, and you have to get through all the hard and dark times because there's so many blessings on the other side of it all. And when you start really giving yourself to God, that's when the enemy attacks you the most. Mm-hmm. Like, you would figure, like, you watch sermons, you listen to the word, you're good, you're protected, you're all right. Nah, man, that enemy's going to be right there just putting these thoughts in your head.
With the biggest things in your life,
mm-hmm.
you know, when I say, like, he will throw the biggest curveball. And you don't even know where it's coming from, and then it just hits you.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. Like, I feel like the more you're into it, into the word, and the more you try,
yeah,
he just keeps coming.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's either you stop and you stand at a still, or you keep going.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not easy.
It's not. And word of advice to everybody out there, do not.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
You know exactly where I'm going.
Oh, yes. Go ahead and tell them about that.
Do not talk shit to the devil.
No.
Do not be like, what's up, motherfucker? I'm right here.
No.
Because that.
No.
Ooh, wee.
I did that first.
Yeah.
And then John did it.
Yep.
And it was not pretty at all.
It's really not. Because I remember I told you, you're like, yeah, you shouldn't do that.
No.
Ever.
I remember whenever I did it. I was like, okay, bring it.
Yep.
Oh, no. Don't ever just.
I remember, too. I remember clearly. Because I was just tired of it. I was over it. I was battling the gout and the foot pains, and I remember like, what's up, dude? I'm right here. What's up? And then waking up the next morning and my foot was fucking shot to shit. No. And I was just like, oh, what? I was like, oh, all right. Like, and I started like getting mad again and angry again. And I remember my brother came by, and he's the one who told me. He was like, this isn't your fight. This isn't your battle. Like, don't this. We're not supposed to battle the devil. We're not battling Satan. We're supposed to be close to God. Mm-hmm. And I told you that. You told me about that. And I remember the day that I literally told the devil, like, you know what? I was like, you got the best of me, man, but I love you. I don't know why you are the way that you are, but I have nothing but love, and I love you. And
I remember you called me. You're like, I felt weird.
Yeah, it was
saying that.
Yeah,
And I was like, well, yeah, I would feel weird too.
yeah, because it is, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like that's what God wants us to be, is just all loving, you know. And I mean, you think of Jesus and him walking and loving everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, from the prostitutes to the Romans to the people that were lepers, like, he loved everybody. He never turned away from anybody, and I feel like that's what we have to do. You know, I feel like we really do have to love each other and be kind to one another, as hippie as that sounds. But I feel like love and kindness goes such a long way, and if everybody was loving and caring,
Oh, yeah.
the world would be an amazing place.
Well, as I've been told, it's not who people can be for you, it's who you can be for people. And I've applied that. And I've accepted that. I may not be, 100% where I need to be, but if you really put that to practice, who can I be for people?
Yeah.
In any situation, in any relationship, in any, everything is a snowball effect.
Yeah.
So if you are mean to this person, they're going to go off, you're going to ruin their day. And then they're going to go off and be mean to 3 people. And then those 3 people to 3 people, and those 3 people to 3 people. And it's going to keep going. And it all starts with you.
Yeah.
So who can you be for people? And that is every day. I apologize to my son.
That says a lot from a Latina mom.
I apologize to my son.
You don't hear that a lot.
No, I do. And why is it? And it's because I don't go to church all the time. I get in my head and I feel like I'm not worthy. But one time I went to church, and we have the tendency of feeling like we're superior. Just because of position or relationship. Like, I am his mom. My job is to guide him to be the best man that there could possibly be. That is my job, is not to put him down.
Yeah.
That's not my job. So if I feel like I acted out of character because I was frustrated at something else, or something's not going right at my restaurant, and I take it out on him.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I know I'm not where I need to be. But we can't use that as an excuse not to make it better. So I know that I messed up, in talking to him a certain way, or, taking things a certain way, making certain decisions. But I'll sit there and I'll say, you know what, son? I shouldn't have talked to you this way. You still need to do what I asked you to do, because it's going to make me frustrated. But I shouldn't have talked to you that way. So I still point out, you didn't do this. That doesn't give me the right to treat you that way.
I love that.
So I even apologize to my kid.
He's a good kid.
Oh, he is.
He really is.
And because of that, I'm giving my son the opportunity to be a better man.
Yeah.
Because if I know that I messed up, and just because of pride, I'm not going to tell my own kid sorry, then he's going to grow up and he's going to be that way.
Yeah.
So if I at least give him the chance to mess up and then come back and say sorry, then, and if that's the best that he can be because of my own issues, then that's me trying 100%.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Who can I be for my son? Who can I be for my customers? Who can I be, for the lady down the street?
Yeah.
I will never, purposely hurt someone or have any ill intent.
Right.
And I have no problem with coming back and saying, I messed up.
Yeah.
Now.
Accountability.
Yes.
It's
now I now before I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But now, it's took a lot of therapy,
Yeah.
a lot of reading,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of sermons, a lot of audiobooks.
Yeah. I feel you. It's something we're both doing. We're both working on ourselves and becoming a better version of ourselves. And I see it all the time, you know? And I think that it's great that you do apologize to him, Because, I mean, being a business owner, it gets frustrating. And a lot of times you do take your anger out on other people. Like, I remember my dad, if he had a bad day, everybody had a bad day in that house. It didn't matter. He'd come in that place and he would cuss up a storm. He didn't care who was in his way. If he didn't do something he said, then he just had more reason to go at you. He never, like, beat us or anything. Like, I got 2 spankings my whole life, and after that I was like, I'm good. I don't do that and I won't get spanked. All right, cool. I'm good. My brother,
2?
on the other hand, 2. I got my brother.
You get
My brother.
2 a day. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that was my brother. My brother didn't care. Like, he was wild. He was wild. And he would get spankings and he just, whatever, he ate them. He just kept going and doing stuff and messing up and get spankings, whatever, kept doing them. Me.
That was in you. You're like, no, I'm out.
I was like, oh, okay. I don't want that to happen again. I'm all right.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, like, I'm cool. All right, I'm going to be cool. I'm good. Like, I'm chilling, But it definitely, I just figured this out in therapy yesterday, actually, because I did have therapy yesterday on my rest day. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But
I'm over here like, you're supposed to be resting.
But I did because I had to reschedule it, so I was like, this is the only day that I can do it. But parenting plays a very, very big role in how people turn out. And I know that just sounds like so like duh, but it really does. Like, I mean, sitting there with my therapist, I found out that I do certain things because my mom did stuff a certain way. My dad did stuff a certain way. And you create unhealthy habits because of it. And to anybody who's not in therapy, I don't care if you're a dude or chick or whatever, but it's definitely been helping out a lot.
And it's not like how people like make it seem.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
No.
I take it as in, I don't know if that's how you are, but I'm so eager to learn about myself. I want to know why.
Yep.
I want to know why I am the way that I am. I want to know why it is that I do these things. Why is it that I take things this way? It's amazing to me. And when I learn something, I'm like, oh, this is why.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like unlock another level,
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel the same way, whoever it is, I think people should go if, you can.
Yeah.
I really do feel like that.
No, and I think that you feel that way because of who we are, like, and the journey we're on right now, the walk of life we're on right now, of like improving ourselves. I think that's why you're so eager to go, because I'm the same way. I'm eager to go. I want to make it happen. Like, I don't want to miss any sessions. I don't want to miss any weeks. Like, when you went on Saturday, and I was like, "You're going on Saturday?" And you're like, "Yeah, I can't miss because if I do, then I'll get in a slump or whatever." And it's definitely it's a good thing to do, And it's crazy because when I started my rest days, and I've really never talked about it on the pod, but for the ones who don't really know, I have a rest day every Tuesday. And basically what I do on these rest days is I disconnect my phone. I turn off my phone. I have a flip phone for emergencies. I pray. I read the Bible. I watch a sermon. Try and stay in the Word of God as much as I can. But I also give myself, and I'm starting to do this more, give myself more leisure on these days to do other things that make me happy. And when I first got into the rest day, I really felt like God was pushing me towards therapy for whatever reason. And I was talking to my therapist, and I was telling her, I was like, I'm so overwhelmed right now because I'm trying to work on everything all at once, mentally, physically, spiritually, and trying to work on all this stuff at once. I feel overwhelmed because it's just a lot that I am constantly going. I'm constantly working. I'm waking up at 5 a.m. to work out. I'm trying to journal. I'm trying to read the Bible. I'm trying to do my rest days. I'm trying to do this. And you know me, like I'm really hard on myself if I don't
Yeah.
do something correctly or the way that I wanted it to go. I'm very hard on myself.
Yeah.
And my therapist told me, she was like, I understand that you're overwhelmed. She's like, I think you need to pull back on one of the things. And I was like, well, I can't do anything physically because that's my happiness. Like I need my physical to be good. Cause if I get on a scale and I'm too heavy or if I weigh a certain weight, it messes with me mentally. So I need that to be good. I was like, mentally, I feel like I need to keep doing this to bring everything to the attention and to the table. I was like, spiritually, I was like, it's God first all the time. Like that's not negotiable, you know? And she was telling me and she's like, I think if there was anything that you could pull back on would probably be the spiritual aspect and on your rest days. And once all I heard was spiritual, pull back on.
Oh,
and I saw red.
What is
I'm going to get into it.
Oh, okay.
So I saw red and I didn't hear anything else after that. And I was like, yeah, this isn't the therapist for me. I need to find somebody else.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I see.
Nope. I got to put God. This isn't, no.
I'm just like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, nope.
Yep.
It's like, it doesn't matter if it's been great for the past 6 months. I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Red flag.
Yeah. And so, and she said something. She was like, I want you to really think about this. She's like, she's like, how do you think God wants your walk of life to be with him? You're obviously overwhelmed. You're obviously stressed. She said that, she's like, I've heard you talk about your rest days. And if you slip up once, you give yourself a very, very hard time and you go back and she's like, you're treating this walk of life almost like a training camp. And I didn't hear a lot of it in the moment. And then when I left and when I actually thought about it and I prayed on it, and it really was that, you know, like I was, and I feel like God directed me into therapy when I started having these rest days because he knew my mind and he knew how I was and he knew my all or nothing thinking. And he knew that if I messed up once, I was going to be way too hard on myself. To where it's like yesterday, I mean, I had the sermon, I prayed, I read the Bible, I did all that, and I still was able to go out and do stuff and kind of still rest, but I'm still able to do stuff that I love. To where before it was literally everything God.
I feel like you felt like rest days was you not doing anything at all but be with him.
Exactly what it was.
And I've had this conversation with you before, and I'm trying, to make it happen. And I know that you understand that it's extremely hard, for someone to actually take a rest day.
Yeah.
Because I'm extremely hesitant. But I don't know about you, but I don't feel like if I'm not at work or I'm not taking care of my household, I don't have any hobbies.
Yeah.
I've turned my one hobby into my job. So it's kind of like it's still fun. Like if I'm in the kitchen, it's fun. And, I don't hate work. I really don't.
Right.
It feeds my soul. It really does. But, in your rest day, what is something that makes you happy and you have to choose, right? What is it that makes John happy?
Yeah.
So I feel like you are 100% correct. It's like God knows what and who you're gonna need, and she was there on your rest day to tell you that.
Yeah.
So I 100% agree with her.
Yeah. No, I do too. And I told her yesterday on my rest day, I was like, when you told me that I saw red, and I was like, this isn't the therapist for me. And she was like, wait, what? I was like, I'm going to get to it. I was like, I'm good now. Like you are,
Yeah.
I was like, that's something for me that like, you might as well say, fuck your mother type stuff. Like you don't talk about God like that to me. Like,
Yeah. And that's one thing that my therapist told me about taking in and privatizing, he says, and then go forward.
Yeah.
That's one thing, and that's what you did. You took, you were upset, but you took it in, within yourself, and then you actually listened and, you went forward.
I sat with
You
it.
saw the truth
Mm-hmm.
in something that was uncomfortable and that you didn't like to hear, and, we go back to that. If we really would look at what is the truth behind it, we would get so much farther.
Yeah.
Instead of just being, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Not going to happen.
Exactly. And
No.
yeah, it's crazy, man. The whole working on yourself and it's definitely overwhelming, but it's also, it feels great, like I'm finally getting to a point where I'm doing stuff that makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always been me catering to others' needs so much and making sure that they're good, making sure that they're happy, not doing what I wanted to do. And a big part of that comes from my mom, because my mom's such a loving person. Like, I remember my mom, she would make dinner, cook dinner. She would serve all of us, make sure we're all sitting there eating. If you needed anything, she would grab it. She made sure everything was good before she had her plate and had her meal, and she would sit down and she would eat. And yeah, I'm sure that she, I'm sure that you relate to that 1,000%.
Mm-hmm. But that's not always good.
Yeah,
My therapist says that that's people pleasing.
it is, and that's where I got it from.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when my therapist is like, "Why are you doing? You're doing too much. You're doing way too much, and you don't have to do that." Like, I think what you did here was enough for that person.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go all out and make it a really big grand gesture and do all that. And the more that you find out about yourself, the more that you're really content and happy with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been single for 14 years, a long time. I haven't really been this content and this happy with myself in the 14 years, to be real.
Mm-hmm.
I've had my moments of like, oh, this is great, being on the road, all that, but it always come back and I'd always get back into that lonely spot, that lonely mindset. And now, being closer to God and being in therapy and working on myself, yeah, it's uncomfortable, shit, but it's also very necessary for me to get to where I want to be in life. And I think it's a beautiful journey, and I know that you can relate to that a lot because you've really worked on yourself too. Like, I remember earlier this year, and it was earlier this year when we first started like becoming closer and started talking a lot more. You were coming out of something and you were like, you haven't seen Jacqueline, like you haven't seen me.
Yes.
Like and I was like, well, you've always seemed like happy, you've always seemed chipper, you've always seemed cool. Like, I've never noticed that.
I was
and
like, no.
you're like, nope, just wait on it. And then
Yeah.
I saw
I
Jacqueline
am like,
in all her
I
light.
dance, like, I remember I told you, I'm like, me and my sister dance at Walmart.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll dance at Walmart and we'll just, be goofy and stuff. And I'll be dancing in the car.
Yeah.
Like, who dances in the car?
Yeah.
Who sings and dances? I do. That is
do-
me.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I make myself laugh in the car all the time.
Oh, yeah, me too.
All the time. I'm constantly cracking jokes and like laughing like, you're dumb. Like, you're stupid.
I have the best time in my car.
Yeah.
I used to have the worst times for about a year, but the best times are in my car. I crack up. I literally crack up.
Yeah.
Start thinking stuff and sing. and dance.
It's great. Yesterday I went to go get a haircut because I wasn't gonna have time because I leave tomorrow to California. And like on my way there, I was just in silence and I just talked to God the whole way and I just thanked him and told him how grateful I was for everything and just had a very, very big like gratitude moment. And I kid you not, everything for the rest of the day was my way perfectly. I mean, from here to Barton Creek Mall, no traffic.
Yeah.
From Barton Creek Mall back, no traffic. Like, I mean, just small things, like little things, right? Like everything was like,
Well, it's that.
yeah, no, it is. It is. It 1,000% is.
It really is that.
Yeah.
You have to, you know, right now there's such a trend with, you know, being spiritual and being in the present moment and all of that. You know, it's a trend, but it really is. I've woke up sometimes and I'll start feeling that insecurity inside of me, and I'm like, nope, not today.
Yeah.
It's not happening today. And work goes great.
Yep.
So I 100% like, you know, feel you on that.
It's about having that successful mindset. Mm-hmm. And we need it more than anybody because we're constantly going, and working on building a better version, not only of ourselves, but of our business.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful thing. What's in the future for Calisience that you have coming up? I saw you put up some nice decorations in the restaurant.
You know, I'm trying to get my Martha Stewart on.
Mm-hmm. Got the patio furniture out there.
Sure do.
Okay. Sunday brunch, Sunday fun day. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Got your margarita machine.
I sure do.
I love it. What's next? What's in the future?
I want to get my liquor license. It's coming.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to the agency actually today when I was on my way over here.
Nice.
So we're getting that going. I feel like it's safe to say that I am selling my food truck.
Yay.
I feel that it's meant to help someone as their stepping stone.
Yeah.
I felt it inside of me that it was because a lot of other, you know, potential buyers have fell through.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually feel like these two gentlemen are meant to, you know, just use it as their stepping stone. So I'm going to sell my food truck. And then I am looking into opening up a second concept.
Hey.
And even though I know that Calisience is not all the way where it needs to be, I know that it will be.
Yep.
Whenever the time comes.
Yeah.
Because if I came from nothing to a brick and mortar in less than 4 years, this July, it'll be 4 years since I started selling food from my apartment. Not from whenever I was in the food truck.
Yeah.
You know, literally from my apartment. So I know.
I went by like that.
Yes. I know that I will be there.
Yeah.
I do not know how to explain this. It's just I know. Like I feel it inside of me.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm feeling it right now. Mm-hmm. Like I believe in myself in this so much. I cannot explain it. It's like, I know.
Yeah.
You know, people are like, weren't you scared? No, I wasn't scared. It's like, I know. I know it's in me. I know, and I've talked to you about it, and I've gotten so passionate about it.
Yeah.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I'm not doing it. I'm not going to say that I'm not trying to, you know, provide for my son and provide for my family or provide. I'm not saying that that's not there. It is, because I would be lying. You know, we work and we want to see, you know, fruits like we want to. But I am not money driven, you know, but I know I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
I know. And I was afraid to say it out loud, you know, because I'd be like, oh, está loca,
Right.
you know, but I feel it inside of me. I have a vision of myself and I can see it and I know it. And I'm just, I'm always like, okay, God, what is it that you want me to do? When I don't know now, I'm like, what is it? So I know that I'm going to get that second concept going. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know it and I feel it. So maybe next time I come on here, you know, I'll present my second concept.
We popping champagne bottles.
Oh, best believe it. Mm-hmm. You best believe it.
And I know you will too, because the closer we've gotten, I've seen even more of your drive and how strong you are, mentally, physically, spiritually, everything. Like, you are an amazing woman. You're a beautiful soul inside and out, and I love you so much. And I know that you're gonna do amazing things, and I can't wait to see it all and be on the sidelines cheering for you.
And to show that Snapchat thread, we have a Snapchat thread that says
Not like
one
that,
day,
not like that.
no, not like that, but that says one day we're gonna look back. Remember? And we
Yes.
saved it, and it was what, like 2-3 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and we said one day we're gonna look back. This was before my food truck, or right whenever I started. It's like, we're gonna look back, and we're gonna say, we made it. And then I said this recently, and like, we haven't made it yet, but I said we're gonna be those people, like celebrities, like whenever like, oh, they knew each other from back then. I told John, that's who we're gonna be.
Yep.
That's us.
Yep.
And we're gonna talk about it. And we have the receipts.
Yeah, literally. As long as Snapchat doesn't ever get deleted, we have the receipts.
Yeah, I need to go back in there,
We
log
need-
on, and
we
take
need to screenshot
Yeah,
that.
screenshot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, we can actually. Let me see. I bet you I can pull it up right now and do it, just in case. You never know what's gonna happen with
Yeah.
Snapchat. With this AI stuff, you never know.
Yes.
Now I really want to see exactly what we said.
Yes, I remember I said we're going to look back at this and we're going to. I remember that.
There it is. Hold on. We have a whole thread.
Yes, we do. Oh, the tickets! He pulled up the tickets.
The tickets from March 2016.
You said take a picture with them.
Yeah. Literally March of 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Her taking the tickets. Yeah. It's somewhere in there. There's the whole thread, and I'm not gonna make y'all wait on me. Look, I have an order in there too from September 3rd of 2020. 6 tacos dorados, 1 ramen, a quesadilla, and an order of your street tacos. 3 if they're sold separately. I have a friend with me, so don't think it's all for me. Those one is okay with me. Oh, yes, that's great. Yes, I'm gonna go back. We'll look at it later. But I am very thankful and grateful you came on the podcast.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see where this life takes both of us. Can't wait to pop bottles in the VIP section
You already know.
when we have
It may be my VIP section.
Hey,
You
come
never
on.
know. You never
Let's
know.
do it. Well, look into this camera. Tell people where they can follow you, learn more about your restaurant and all of that.
You can follow me. You can follow my restaurant at Calisience. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. The restaurant is located in Fort Worth, 2707 Race Street, Suite 117 in Fort Worth, Texas, 76111.
There it is. Y'all be sure to follow her, follow the journey, taste the food. It's amazing. Jacqueline, thank you so much for taking the time to come out here and get on the podcast. And I love you so much. Proud of you. Last time I'm going to say it, well, for this podcast at least.
I love you too, and you know that.
And
I
yeah.
love you with all my heart. Like, I can genuinely say that I love you
Yeah.
on that next level. I really do.
Yeah.
I even told you crying.
Yeah. I
Like, you
remember.
really are the greatest friend
Yeah.
that I could have.
I
I
agree.
lup you on a soul level.
Yeah.
I really do.
Me too. You're my sister in Christ. So
Mm-hmm.
love that. That's a whole other type of friend zone right there. Sister in Christ, baby. What's up? But yeah, y'all be sure to follow her. Thank you for listening, tuning in. If this is your first time, you enjoyed what you listened to, like, subscribe, follow, all the good stuff. Until next time, we'll see y'all then. Be blessed. Peace.
And not a dick was mentioned.
Busy bridging the gap. Cooler than the polar bear. Born in the game.